Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to call the Human Resource Committee to order. It is 6:03 on May the 28th, 2019, and we're at Nashua High School North. Ms. Porter, may I have the roll call?
Okay, Ms. Timmons,
Here.
Mrs. Porter is here, Ms. Oden.
Here.
Ms. Van Twyver,
I'm here.
Dr. Mosley. Here. Ms. O'Gara.
Here.
Okay, and that's everyone. We're all
Okay.
here.
On the agenda, we had 3 items. Personnel recommendations, the non-affiliated handbook review, and the Assistant Director of Technology job description. So the first thing we're going to cover is personnel recommendation. Are there any questions regarding personnel recommendations?
Yes, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
I noticed that we have 6 more resignations before the end of the year this year. Can Ms. O'Gara please tell me how many resignations we've had this year in total?
I haven't counted them up, honestly. I would say we're up to probably our normal amount, 40, 30, something like that. I haven't counted them, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
I think next HR committee meeting, we should have a count. I'll make sure that happens, Ms. Van Twyver, okay? So can we have a motion to accept the personnel recommendation unless we have another question regarding it? Ms. Odom?
I'm going to have to abstain to avoid a conflict of interest.
Okay.
All right, so, nope. So I move to accept the personnel recommendations dated May 28th, 2019.
Can we get a second on that? We don't need a second on it.
No, you do. Well, I'm not a voting member tonight.
Oh, that's right. I'll second it then.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a motion to accept the personnel recommendation. Ms. Porter?
Okay.
Okay, you want to put that?
Okay, so I vote yes, Ms. Timmons,
Yes,
and
and we have one abstain.
1 abstain. Okay.
Okay?
2 yes. So motion carries.
Yes, thank you. Next thing we'll have is the non-affiliated handbook review. I hope you had a chance to read it and review it. I do have a question regarding this, Dana. We're doing the negotiations right now for the non-affiliated people that's in the non-affiliated. No, we're not.
For the supervisors and the directors that were previously non-affiliated. So it's a non-affiliated management that formed a union.
Okay. I have one other question. This was also dated 2015. I was wondering why we didn't have anything since then. If you look on page, let me see, 14, I think it is. 12. And it's approved date by the Board of Education on June 29, 2015. Is this done every single year? Yes.
Usually it is.
Okay.
But what happened was the group that was in this, under this, the non-affiliated, that same group of supervisors and directors voted to form a union. And
Okay.
our attorney said that we can't change anything in here until that union was formed.
Okay.
So I believe this was actually discussed in 2016, and some of the red lines are from a board meeting in 2016.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions regarding the non-affiliated handbook?
I have a question.
Ms. Porter?
On page 14, did that open forum already occur when it says annual review of personnel policies?
So it's a two-step process. The first process is to go through the board, and then the next board meeting, we should be, HR meeting, we should be holding a forum where any of the non-affiliated staff would have input into the changes that you made or other changes that they would want to see.
So the forum happens at the HR committee meeting?
Yes, it does. If you
Oh,
look
okay.
to the back page before the appendix, it's on page 14. It has the annual review of policies, personnel policies, and it says no later than March 1st, the superintendent, so we're a little late, recommend to the Board of Education any changes for the non-affiliated. And then after that, the Board of Education HR Committee shall offer an open forum to all those non-affiliated employees to provide them with opportunity to comment.
Okay, thank you.
And if you look at the appendix, we had, when we brought it forth, so you can see on there that that's about the last time we were talking about it in 2016 in October. So you see the positions that went to the union, and we had also added positions on there that weren't on the original one.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Van Twyver?
Yeah, I have a question. Do we have any technical management people in this document?
Yes, we do.
And who is that?
It would be the superintendent, the assistant superintendents, the HR director, and the,
I said technical. It says technical or management positions on page 7.
so management and technical positions would be the superintendent, the assistant superintendents, the HR director, chief operating officer, and Mrs. Kinsella is also considered management.
But there's
They're-
no
they're
particular
listed.
technical?
So there's no technical people, well, the data analyst is in NASAS, so there's no technical.
Well,
If you look at the cross-off list,
yep, I did.
yep,
That's why I couldn't find any technical person, and it's the title on, it's the
Mm-hmm. All the
word
tech-
technical is used a couple of times in the document.
right. Because originally we were all in the same category.
Do you suggest, I'm sorry, Ms. Van Twyver, that we take technical, like in management positions out of that?
Right.
Right.
Okay, we can make that change.
Ready to agree? Yeah. Because you're absolutely right there.
And actually, that's a very good suggestion because it will reduce confusion.
Yeah. The other thing I have on page 4, on the 1, 2, 3rd paragraph, could we cite the state law or the RSA number that applies to being able to be let go after 30 days or 60 days, whatever it is?
What page?
Page 4.
On a discipline?
It says, no, probationary status, the third
okay.
paragraph. It says, the superintendent may dismiss an employee during the initial probationary period for any reason.
There is no RSA for that.
There is no RSA?
There is
It's not
no-
a state law that
No,
you are employed at will?
That's different than a probationary employee. At will means that you're always at will.
Correct, but I would like people to understand that this period of time when that you're at will, that you just
They're
can't-
always at will legally. We are always at will.
All right, I'm not going to argue with you,
Okay.
quoting it.
It's
would
not in an RSA, though.
It is not.
It is not.
Then how come then why is it that people are at will? Not a state law?
I think that's in a Department of Labor rule, possibly, because each state can differ from being at will or not at will.
Well, that's why I'm saying, then we must have a law that says that.
But I'm referring to the probationary
All right,
piece.
all right.
That is not in a state statute.
Well, let's see. Is there something that says termination here? Resignations, retirements, hiring and compensation, performance evaluation?
If you look under discipline on page 4, it refers to a progressive discipline process which all the collective bargaining
Well, maybe
agreements
then-
have as well.
Yeah, well, I don't think people in the state, most people in the state understand that you are at will. That's mine.
Okay, but having said that, Ms. Van Twyver, the state of New Hampshire is at an at-will state.
Yes.
Yeah, so we,
But a lot of young employees and a lot of other employees do not understand that you are at will, because we've had that question raised here in one of our meetings, I remember. But that's all right, you don't have to do it.
so, we in favor, the HR committee will offer an open forum to the non-affiliated employees to provide them an opportunity to comment on the superintendent's recommendation and any other changes to the non-affiliated, non-union personnel policy. So, can I have a motion to move forward?
So you're asking to just move forward with the
Right.
process? Okay,
With the process, to have an open forum to the non-affiliated employees,
okay.
to provide them the opportunities to comment on the superintendent's recommendations. So right here, this is the, okay, which stated on,
Okay, so I move to,
Right
okay,
read this.
okay.
Why, I don't understand.
Okay.
What page are you on, and why are we drawing this out as opposed to others? Is it an edit?
She's on the cover letter.
On the cover letter, it says, upon approval of these changes, addition, the HR committee will offer an open forum to the non-affiliated employees to provide them an opportunity to comment on the
But
superintendent's
isn't that
recommendation.
part of the document?
Page 14.
Yes.
So you don't need to draw that out?
I don't
Just
think-
simply-
yeah.
Just move to accept it the way it's edited,
Okay.
or as the amendments have been made.
Okay. So
We can vote on that.
motion, okay. Motion to move forward. Let's see. In the process, move forward, okay, motion to move forward with the NSD non-union, I have to write this down,
Personnel
affiliated.
policies at the next HR committee meeting.
No, the next board meeting.
Next, no, we have to,
Says HR committee
at HR committee meeting, yes.
on page 14.
Okay, so motion to move forward with the Nashua School District Non-Union Affiliated Employees Handbook process, and to hold, let's see, an open forum at the next HR committee,
Oh, I see.
at the next HR committee meeting.
Which will be October 19th, so we can have that on record.
On what?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're not in October.
I
Okay.
know I don't know dates very well.
June 19th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. June, I'm going to read this
Jumping
again.
ahead.
Okay. So the motion is to move forward with the NSD Non-Union Affiliated Employees Handbook process and to hold an open forum at the next HR committee meeting on June 19th, 2019.
Right.
Okay.
Second.
But don't you have to accept the changes in here before you do that?
With the changes.
Can I just add that with the change?
The motion I would make was
Okay.
I have moved to accept the non-union affiliated employee handbook as amended and to hold a meeting on the 19th
Okay.
of June.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to change that. All right, I move to accept the Nashua School District Non-Union Affiliated Handbook, Employees Handbook as amended, and to move forward in the process to hold an open forum at the next HR committee meeting on June 19th, 2019. Good? Okay. All right. Do we have a second?
Second on that.
Okay. Okay. And Mrs. Porter votes yes. Mrs. Timmons?
Yes.
And one abstention.
No, I
Oh,
can.
can you
wait.
vote on
I
this
can
one?
vote on
Okay,
that.
sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
All right, Mrs. Oden. Do you vote yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion passes. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, the last but not least is the Assistant Director of Technology. You received the job description in your packet. So do we have any discussion on that? Yes, Ms. Van Tryver?
Yeah, I'm trying to find my copy. I clipped it someplace else evidently. I had a question about the first item on the job description, that the superintendent and the
Designee?
director will sponsor this or be entitled to it or what? Yeah, here we go.
Assistant
Oops, no,
Director
that's the
work
other
in the
thing.
direction of or the superintendent designee.
I'm sorry, I don't have my papers all straight. I thought I did.
Yes, can you give that to her? Thank you very much.
Yeah, it should be here. Yep, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It says the Assistant Director of Technology works under the direction of the superintendent or the superintendent's designee and Director of Technology. I had a little problem with this because, as you know, I have an objection with people going past, like from the Board of Education going directly to somebody else with a problem. And I think that this opens up a problem with the hierarchy of doing business. Like, it seems to me that under the superintendent or the superintendent's designee can go past the director of technology to control what this assistant director is doing. And to me, the superintendent should go through the director of technology if it wants something to be done by the assistant director. But that's just my opinion.
Dana, would you like to speak on that?
Well, in the past, we've had someone acting as an assistant director of technology, and the director of technology at times has been designated by former superintendent to the assistant superintendents. So I guess I would say I don't see that unusual, because I can remember them working with the assistant superintendents, and there's been time where we had to fill in for the director of technology, and that person also worked with the assistant
But you
superintendent.
don't usually write a job description to do that. That just happens automatically. The other thing is that I thought this was a brand-new position because it hasn't been, a former job description hasn't been approved.
Right, it is a new position. It's a formal new position. We've had people, I don't want to say the name, but she left us and she went to another
Yeah, I
school
know who you're
district,
talking
and
about.
she really took on a lot of the same kinds of things in this role.
All right, so if you're establishing a new position for director, there needs to be some kind of money associated with this.
Yeah, so one of the.
How are we going to pay for this title?
Yeah, so one of our systems administrators, so there's two levels in technology. There's a assistant systems administrator, and then there's a systems administrator. There's 5 or 6 of them. One of them is retiring, and the money from that position is going into this position.
And how much is that money?
I don't know off the top
Can
of
you
my
give me a
head.
ballpark?
I want to say it's around 60, 70, 75, somewhere around there.
Just want to make sure we have enough money to hire a well-qualified person. That's all I'm asking about.
Yeah.
Ms. Oden? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Mosley?
Good, I'll defer to Ms. Odom.
Okay.
No, when I read this, I thought that was strange. if the director of technology said one thing and the superintendent said another thing, that would leave the person in limbo. I thought that was strange myself when I read it, when you're under the supervision of two people.
Thank you. Very well said. Much better than what I tried to do.
Ms. Porter?
Hi, I just, a couple things about this position. Number one, the Director of Technology is under the jurisdiction, the supervision of the superintendent. So that is a moot point in terms of whether an assistant director of technology is told by the superintendent to do something or not. That is a moot point. The superintendent supervises all the directors within the district. The other piece of this job is that if we look at different departments, particularly we look at special ed, there's two assistant directors. When you look at other departments like the financial pieces, for instance, Dan Donovan, and if Dan is not here or not available, we have Paul, well, we had Paul Calabrio, who's not here anymore, but still there's a point of contact. For our technology department, there's no point of contact. And as a result, we've had no one's fault, and this isn't an indictment on the technology, but it speaks to providing some clear understanding and guidance on how we get tasks done. So when we've had a absence in the director of technology, no one's fault, we don't have anything that gets done here. And as a result, initiatives don't get accomplished. There's no point in contact. When I have asked people to step up, it's actually not fair. And it's not fair because I'm asking people to do more than what they're compensated for. They shouldn't be asked to do more without being compensated. And there are people within that department who have stepped up time and time again before my arrival and during my tenure here who have gone above and beyond, and they shouldn't be working for free. They should be compensated for the work that they're doing. Now, I've had some discussions with Rick about this position. There is an opportunity here to reorganize and to do it in a way that's efficient and has the department running in a way where work can get accomplished in a systematic way. And I don't want to get into too much of the details, but when the director of technology isn't available or not, we've had a number of major I would say, initiatives that really need to get done, particularly at these high schools that haven't gotten done. And so part of that is really providing that level of support for our technology department, really providing that chain of command within the technology department, and really providing some clear delineation of roles and responsibilities within that department. And that's not a negative thing on any, a negative indictment on any of the personnel within the technology department whatsoever. But at the same time, this is a central office position in a way where it's part of a unit. I understand that the technology department is not located at central office, but at the same time, it's important that we have some system of when I'm not here, Garth, it's actually really Donna takes over. It's already established when I'm not here. Donna is kind of the point person and would be that person. If Donna's not here, then it becomes Garth. If Garth and Donna, I'm sorry, if the three of us are not here, then it falls to Dan Donovan. If Dan Donovan's not here, then it falls to Dana. There is a system in place where, and if Dana isn't here or she's not here, then it goes to Marsha Bagley. And it's just kind of like I don't want to use a chain of command, but kind of a role in succession. But right now, that doesn't exist within that department. And there needs to be some formal, can I just finish?
Sure,
There
I didn't
needs to
say
be some
anything.
formal way of which we can really understand that, not only for central office, but also for the district as well.
Ms. Van Sparva?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm well aware of the situation with the Director of Technology in this for the last so many years. I understand what has gone on. When the Director of Technology is not here, his boss will always go to someone to take over the responsibilities or to help out, or can hire somebody temporarily to do that. I still believe that if you're going to put him in charge, then as Ms. Oden has said, that there be two questions about who can do the thing that either the director wants or the superintendent wants. And that is not a good thing from any kind of personnel situation. And the fact that we had the situation with the director of technology is not his fault. I agree with that. And the people that step up, I think, did it out of the kindness of their hearts. In addition, they get paid their regular salary, that's true. And then they're not going to be making what the director does. But if it takes a long time for this person to come out, then maybe some other kind of recommendation, suggestion could be done. But I would not approve of this if it came before the full board.
Ms. Odom?
You mentioned special ed, what happens with, down the line, what happens. Is it in their job description that they work under the direction of the superintendent and then the director of that department? Is that in their job description also, what's being written here?
So I think that there's, I couldn't say for sure, but in a lot of the job descriptions, there's 2 lines. There are. Like if you think of like the career and technical ed directors, and also the guidance counselors, the guidance directors, there's lines to the principals of the building, and then there's a line to an assistant superintendent. So because of the, in those lines are there because of, for different reasons, for different levels of approvals and things. So if you can imagine that, because the assistant superintendent is really over the they're supposed to report to the principal and to her, because that's the cohesiveness part of it, for both the guidance and also the CTE. So I think I would liken it to that. I don't know if that helps.
I just think this is very awkward. Under the direction of the superintendent or the superintendent's designee and the director of technology. I mean, I can't imagine another job description having possible 3 bosses. It just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Madam Chairman, maybe you can, as an HR person, can say something about that.
Okay, I think that if we see an organizational chart, it might be clearer how this would work. We don't have that in front of us, so I think that's the issue here. And then you could see an organizational chart. And
Yes,
an
I understand
organizational
that.
chart would
It doesn't,
outline,
it doesing show that the IT director has 2 bosses, or the assistant director.
but the way the organizational chart would be highlighted is how that position would work. So I think if we table this for now and look at an organizational chart, or convince us even further that this is the way we need to do, that might be an answer.
Can I make a suggestion?
Okay.
You can just make it director of technology. It doesn't really bother me. But this department, we need this position in some way or another to get major things done in this district. That's connected to our NEAS report. That's connected to our state standards for security. This is kind of a bigger topic around where the personnel is here in this district. I'd be happy to share with you in terms of long-term. But there are some things in the district that need to get done, and certainly I need, and these principals need, and more importantly, these kids need this level of support and direction within the district to get this done. We're in hiring season right now. We table it, it's fine. We table it, it's fine. But right now, the candidates are out there. And you know, to build on and to continue on some of the things we're working on here, the district needs this level of support for our kids. It doesn't really matter to me around a director or anything like that, but we really need some big ticket items here to get done that are essential for the district.
Ms. Van Twyver.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For as long as I have been on this board, I have complained about the IT department and some of their actions. So I fully agree with you that we need people in this department who can take over the responsibilities when the others cannot. And I am not against having this title. I think it's a doggone good idea. I want to make sure that we have enough money to hire well-qualified people to do this work. We've had a number of questions that have come up recently, and I have brought them up in the past regarding certain things that the IT department has not handled very well. So I have no problem with that. I just have a problem with having two bosses for these or three bosses for this position.
Ms. Porter?
Okay, so are we saying that we'll say the Assistant Director of Technology works under the direction of the Director of Technology? Just leave it at that?
That would make me happy.
Is everybody okay?
The Assistant Director of Technical work on the direction of
Direction of-
Superintendent or the
No,
Superintendent.
works under the direction of the Director of Technology. Is that where we want it to be?
I'm okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
I guess I would say that makes sense because
Okay.
Dr. Mosley is over the Director of Technology. So if he's not there, you are the one in charge, so it
That's
doesn't
what
need to be said.
That's kind of where this is going here a little bit. It's not, and honestly, I'm not here a lot. Like right now, if someone has a question, when I say designee, like sometimes I'm not available. And I might not be available because of my schedule for a day or so. It doesn't mean that that person can't check in and get some direction from Donna or from Rick. I just want a level of, that level of flexibility, and that person should know that too. So I don't want to get hung up on who reports to who. We're all in this together. What I think, and Ms. Van Twyver, I actually agree with you, and make that a note.
Well, thank you.
But I think what's happened here a little bit, and I'm not going to mention names, but the person, long before I got here a little bit, I'm looking at you, Ms. Van Twyver, because you know who I'm talking about. A lot of the things that she did was great, but they're kind of, once you, I'm going to borrow a Dan Donovan line, we can't have superheroes around here, because once these superheroes leave, then we're in trouble. And once they leave us, then we're kind of stuck with this kind of hosh-posh of things going on here, and then people aren't aware of it because the superhero was so great at it that they just kind of took over. And now we're kind of trying to figure that out. No offense to the current people who are in the technology department or anything like that, trust me, there's a lot to do here. But it's that sense of prioritizing and really understanding where we're going is a challenge right now.
The problem in the past has been the fact that this person was absent for a long period of time because of illness. I mean, that's the real reason. And those that were in charge did not take initiative to get him assistance. So,
Ms. Oden?
I was going to say, I don't think that's a person that Dr. Mosley was referring to. Agreed, yes, Ms. Oden. It's not.
well, the one who took over? The one who, was referring to the one who took over? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well,
I think
you
this-
know, a lot of times we have to fill in for our bosses. The problem was it was too long a period. And that's all needs to be said, I think.
Okay, so if we move, can we move, I'm sorry, Ms.
I have a question.
Porter.
So does this position fall under the non-affiliated employees, or is it in the union?
Yes, it would fall under the NASAS.
It would fall under NASAS?
Yes.
Okay.
So can we move forward?
Well,
with-
the
I'm
reason that
sorry.
I asked that question is because in NASAS, aren't we trying to put salary ranges in there?
No, but we don't usually do that in the job description.
That's part of
No,
negotiation.
Part of negotiation. So what I'm saying is, Ms. Van Twyver is asking about a salary range, but that would be would that be negotiated as part of NASAS, since this position
That would,
is-
any of that would have to go through NASAS.
Okay.
I mean, it would be suggested by the HR committee and the superintendent finally, but it still had to be approved through
Right.
contract.
Okay.
So can we go forward with the job description with the changes?
Is that what you want? Okay, so a motion, okay. Motion to accept the job description
Director of Technology job description with changes.
for assistant director. Assistant director of technology with changes. Okay.
And can you write out those changes specifically?
So the check, yep, I'll write,
Okay.
I'll copy that sentence.
Okay.
One word, okay. So the motion to accept the job description for Assistant Director of Technology with the change in the first sentence of overall responsibilities, the Assistant Director of Technology works under the direction of the Director of Technology. Okay.
Second.
Okay, second, Mrs. Oden. Okay, so are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, so you are Mrs. Timmons. Mrs. Timmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Porter votes yes. And Ms. Oden?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 3-0.
Okay. Any other discussion? Concerns? Well, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Make the difference. Okay. We just say all in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
All
Yes,
right.
okay.
Motion
So we're
adjourned
adjourned at 6:40. Okay, thank you.
Ray, do you want your